Hello there, and as usual, I'm Aaron from Laststandgamers, and welcome. So today we're taking a look at the final event of the Destructom server. Now this was our first server to ever use the weapons core modification, and I have to say, there was plenty of explosions, plenty of destruction, and some of the tracer on weapons fire with weapons core. Ooh, it's exciting. So players in this end event need to escape a dying solar system. The pirates have established a weapon and it's made this system, or the sun itself, rather unstable. So all they have to do is get their ship by midnight into the center of this little jump ring. You might sound, that sounds simple, doesn't it? No. There is 35 plus players on this server who all want to get their ship in the center as well, so it's going to be a real big fight on their hands. The battle has begun. Players are heading towards the jump point from all over the solar system. First at the point we have got MCM Noodles, and we've also got a few of the Dash and DBS drones. The strategy that seems to be at play here is Dash and DBS sending in some scouts and also some harassment and distraction sort of tactics here, to distract whoever's at the point to focus in on the drones around the ring so they can sneak up behind them. As you can see, Noodle's ship is well equipped with a lot of cannons, a railgun sort of turret off to the side to act as a little bit of extra firepower, but we've seen Noodle's ships before in events and they're quite efficient at dealing a lot of damage. The only issue, he is out here alone. He hasn't got a fleet to back him up like some of the other players have. Let's see what happens. So there we have it, DBS and Dash have sprung their trap. With Noodles distracted with the drones in the middle, the DBS and Dash fleet jump all around the jump point, and you can see that there is multiple beams of fire coming from the various vessels around. Here in front of us we've got Indominus Rex's ship. There's a lot of firepower on the top deck of this. We've got a mixture of the standard battle cannons, some from the other mod packs, and they've decided to even go with the Gladys laser over a railgun, so a serious firepower combo. You can see also in the distance as well there, we've got a few more of the DBS ships that are surrounding, but a really nice vessel. Let's continue on. So Noodles has moved away from the jump gate in an attempt to put some space between him and DBS. Now this is a sound strategy, but there is no way that he can hold them all off, and DBS are now jumping into positions around poor little Noodles here, and they're going to trap him in a giant crossfire. The best move here would probably be for him to fire up his jump drives and get the hell out of here. But as you can see, the DBS and Dash vessels are now closing in, and they are dropping fire from every angle. Noodles is in a little bit of a panic and he's got to decide who to focus his shots on, or if he's just going to try to get out of there. I've personally got a feeling he was fumbling to try to get the jump drive possibly running at this moment in time to jump him the hell out of there instead of doing a small jump. But you can see the DBS vessels are surrounding him from all sides and letting off a giant volley of forward fire. You can see the cargo vessel on the left from DBS doing a nice bit of front PDC fire. Lasers are firing from Noodles' ship, but it just can't keep up with the volley of fire that DBS is suppressing from all directions here. The other thing is DBS will have to be quite careful, because with a crossfire like this they could hit their own ships on the other side if they ain't too careful. So look at that, he is absorbing some serious rounds. He's got some thick armour, but he's not going to be able to keep up with this for too long, especially with them lasers ripping through the hull and some of them more high explosive shots damaging the outer shell. We've also got one of these mech type Gundam drone things shown up. These are funky. I don't know what TV series these are from. I'm sorry about that. But you can see this is a pink one. This one's got every weapon under the sun added to it. We've got a giant rail cannon on one of its arms. We've got turrets over to the left and right of it, and this is just a weapons platform full of firepower. And as the rounds are going in from it, as these shots go off, Poor Noodles in there really needs to make that decision and get the hell out of there. A close pass there from Indominus Rex as he cuts in front of the mech, and he's trying to land some blows with his laser across the hull. The lasers tend to be a little bit temperamental, and in some cases they do miss. We've got some more of Dash's arrow-like ships focusing their fire as well. Come on Noodles, get out of there, buddy. This is not going to end well. Of course, he's not adjusting his system, so either his cockpit's been shot out at this point, or he's trying to fire up that jump drive at all costs, but it really isn't looking good. A giant hydrogen explosion or something going off in the back there of Noodles' ship, and I've got a feeling he's going to be out for the count if he can't get this jump drive off. Yeah, Dash and DBS have really focused this poor fella. A lovely ship fallen to a beam of crossfire and destruction. And we're going to see a bit of this. We're going to see different factions trying to work together to take each other out in these early stages. But at the end, it is going to be a free-for-all because only one ship can make it through. Come on, Noodles. Get that jump drive activated. It looks like he's got some sort of propulsion. He is moving, unless that's just the weapons that are pushing him along. You just can't fire that jump drive up. It must be damaged. Something must be going on. Dash are coming in with their arrow-type ships. Look at the design of these. These are cool little ships. They've got hundreds of doors on the side that protect the thrusters. And they've also got the PDCs on the back to warn off anything. And I think they've got the 120mm cannons on the side there. So you've got a giant arrow of firepower going towards the enemy. We're going to see these in play a little bit later on. Very quick ships these are as well because of the hydrogen. No direct front-firing weapons, just turrets. And that is all you need. Very smooth design there, Dash. Too bad for Noodles receiving the majority of the fire on the other end. So let's assume Noodles is pretty much out of the action here. Dash and DBS are going to have to consolidate their forces back towards the main point. He's trying to leave with what thrust he's got left, but I don't see Noodles holding on much longer. Let's try to get inside the ship and see if he's holding on in there in a cockpit or something. Look at poor Noodles in here. There he is. He's strapped in his little cockpit. He's got a backup one there as well. Thrusters on the inside look like they're pretty damaged, and that's why he's drifting. Let's continue on. Let's move away from this fight and see what's going on elsewhere. So heading back over to the jump gate, the DBS and Dash drones are doing their job. They are baiting more people towards the gate itself, and this lovely Star Trek vessel has headed into the area, and now it's focusing its fire on the drones, alerting DBS and Dash to its presence. So will this ship become their next victim? So surprisingly, these drones are quite effective against this ship. You can see it's starting to rip apart some of the armour, disable some of the weapons. This little horde that they've sent at the beginning is causing quite a headache for some of the players who are arriving there. Most of them are solos at the moment, so we'll have to see when another faction arrives, will they offer the same sort of challenge. So another faction has arrived. Now in this fleet, I believe we've got Ryan, Ruffletron and another crazy player that I think he's called Slice. He's got an interesting name. He's built the little ball down there. That's also a refinery ship. And as they're heading in, you see Ryan in his big purple and black ship. You might remember him from our Colony Wars series many moons ago. He is heading into the point, and these three ships from this fleet are targeting the Star Trek vessel as it goes through the portal. Them drones have done quite a number. He's attempted to plow through them for the final time, and you can see the tracer fire is getting everything. It looks like this faction haven't quite configured their weapons correctly, so all their weapons are trying to target missiles and other things that are incoming rather than just their PDCs. But you can see the red ship there is shredding through that Star Trek vessel, trying to let off the odd blast from one of its railguns. But this ship, made of light armour, is probably not going to do too well against these heavier ship builds. You can see it taking a lot of shots from the belly. We've also got these 30mm chain guns on top of this red ship, and when these let off a burst of red tracer, they do some serious damage. They're pretty damn loud as well. Some giant explosions going, and it looks like this three-man faction for the moment are going to be taking over the center point. Still, the Star Trek ship is surviving. You can see that the bridge is intact, engines are intact, and it is giving out a small bit of firepower from its own PDCs. It's just a matter of should it get the hell out of there. Now it's taking on three ships, and I will recommend this for a solo. At the start of an event, always try to pick off the players that are solo themselves or around the edge of the event. So it looks like Rothatron and Ryan have claimed the center point for the moment. Look at this cool little railgun stuck to the side of the ball here. When these things fire off, they're absolutely beautiful. And it looks like the Star Trek ship up there has been disabled. He's got a few weapons firing back out, but it doesn't look like he's got too much movement. What the hell's this firing at? I think must be a system failure on that ball or something. It's firing off into space. So you can see Ryan down there focusing some fire. We've also got DBS coming back into the center now, so Ryan and the crew are going to have to be careful here, or else they might find themselves being the next victims of Dash and DBS's coordinated strike from multiple angles. There is 3 ships here, well 4, including the Star Trek ship that's by itself. So if these do cooperate together in this situation... Oh, some long-range firepower coming in from one of the Dash or DBS ships in the distance there. Yeah, it looks like this one won't be surviving too much longer. Some of its systems are offline and it's not really manoeuvring that much out of here. Come on, buddy, jump out. Just like Noodles, you need to get out of there. There's too many ships on your case. You can also see there's a shotgun type shell that people are firing as well. These are like a cluster munition. You'll see it come in white, and as it gets close towards the target, it breaks off and flakes up. Something left of one of the DBS drones there, still with a turret on the side, causing some trouble for that guy's ship. Really not that good indeed. And some long range firepower. When that ball does fire though with its railgun accurately, it does look really damn cool. Very nice indeed. The disc itself in the centre, where the players will be jumping out through, hasn't taken too much damage. The drones have messed it up, damaged and dented some of the armour. And it also looks like MCRN are waiting on the outskirts, the Mars crew with their nice replica ships. They're planning their time to strike. They know with the 3 or 4 ships that they've got, they're going to need to be in the best possible position. You can see them lurking out here on the edge of the ring. They have got a railgun on the front of their ship, so they could do some long-range firepower, but I think they're just preparing themselves and making sure they've got all the ships in position before they pounce. So back over to the jump point, it looks like the ball has got pretty damn close to this Star Trek ship, and it's putting some serious firepower down onto it. Well, the ball isn't. The other ships are definitely. It looks like the laser gun is trying to fire every now and then. And yes, this Star Trek ship is even lasering itself. There's a drone stuck to the bottom of the hull there. Yeah, this guy's in a whole hell of a load of mess. His PDCs seem to be trying to fire onto it, and it looks like this faction have almost been completely eliminated. Them drones once again distracting people over to the middle and still causing some trouble from a distance. You see the drone there on the left of the screen, Ryan, and who's this? MCN seem like they're moving in now. So MCN have got their Martian style ships, and this is one of their larger ones, firing their railgun from a distance here, and they're steadily moving in around the edge of the jump gate as a fleet. So there's 4 or 5 ships of theirs, so these should be quite a formidable force. It depends who they team up with, or if they go in at it alone and take some people out. It looks like they're even trying to fire some of the shrapnel type rounds. So to keep you updated on what's happening out here, basically we've got 2 fleets starting to form. We have Dash and DBS with 5 or 6, maybe 7 ships, maybe a little bit less, and we've also got another alliance starting to form with MBS and plenty of other factions as well. Right in front of us we have the MBS Bird of Prey that looks absolutely fantastic, but if it keeps this up by getting focused by DBS and Dash, it's going to become extinct, I'm afraid. So you can see we've got some lovely tracer fire going back in and out from it. Engines and thrusters are firing at full, but DBS and Dash are focusing their fire. They've probably even selected what components they want to target of an enemy vessel so they can eliminate it even quicker. We've got the cargo transport from DBS down there, putting some firepower down with its laser, but they're creating that crossfire once again, and the only way that the other teams can break this is start singling out ships of themselves. Behind the Bird of Prey we've got another MBS vessel coming in, another Star Trek design. It's offering some support, but it's not able to really overwhelm the amount of firepower that Dash and DBS have got. I'm hoping they're on the phone right now, and it looks like they are. They're talking to Ryan over there, he's bringing his ship in, and they're slowly starting to turn the tide of this battle with more ships in their favour. But still, if I was in that Bird of Prey, I would be wanting to hit that jump drive anytime soon and just get out there, fall back to some more friendly units. But he is focusing one of the weaker units that DBS have got, this mech here. It's got a lot of firepower, but it's not got too much armour, and if he focuses on it, it could do some serious damage towards it. And there we go, jump drive has been activated. on the lovely bird of prey there, and he's getting out of there, probably for some much needed repairs. Behind him, it looks like we've got Ryan off to the far right, and we've got another MBS ship there. DBS is still holding that side quite firmly though. Ryan is doing a little bit of a retreat. The turrets have still not been quite set up, so he's still targeting missiles and other ships that are neutral as well. So very interesting as he pulls up and they hold this flank. Looks like DBS and Dash are in a slight retreat over to one side, but it might not be a retreat. This could be they're finding something else to focus on. I'm sure their comms in their channel are very, very intense. You can see one of the DBS ships is jumping out there, and the Gundam mech there is moving back behind Indominus to move towards their next focus. Now, I think they're trying to put themselves in a position where they can single out another one of the vessels, possibly the ball, something at the bottom. Yes, it looks like they've managed to focus their fire on the other NBS ship now, and they're working on getting firing angles. So the cargo ship there is letting off its laser beam towards the front. Indominus is hitting it from the bottom. We've got the Dash ships from above here as well. So this focus of fire that Dash and DBS are constantly releasing is really making some of these ships weak. And it looks like the MBS ship there has hit the jump drive and he's out of there as well. A good play. You don't want to be trapped between that much fire. You're not going to be winning that battle at all. So there, another jump drive hit, and he will be out there. It looks like he's taken some damage. Turrets seem still to be firing. A bit of a repair job, and he'll be back in the fight in no time. So what are DBS and Dash doing now? It looks like they're maneuvering around to find their next victim. They are being very aggressive, very offensive in their capabilities, and this is catching a lot of the more defensive players off guard. Looks like Ryan is pulling up in this direction with one of the MCRN ships jumping away as well. So a bit of coordination from the other players there to help slow that battle. But the battles are continuing to evolve. So we've got one of the other fleets assembled here with some of the other ships you haven't seen. We've got this lovely Dead Space looking ship down here at the bottom in its orange colour, firing off some of its cannons. We've obviously got a surfboard ship over to the right. I'll move the camera over in a second. You can see the enemy off in the distance. So we've got real nice selection. With more Star Trek, some smaller ships as well, you don't see too much, and Luke Goblin's surfboard. This was going to be one of his giant battleships. He's built 2 giant battleships, and this was the 3rd one he had in the works. There's the Star Trek ship from before that went through the portal, and the guys are pretty much using it as test fire at the moment. The MCRN ship, the biggest one, seems to be holding the middle point with the rest of the fleet over here. So it looks like the other players have managed to turn the tide just a little bit on Dash and DBS, but they've still not secured themselves a good lead because, as I know, DBS and Dash are up to something. Do you remember that ball ship, anyone? Where's that wounded off to? Could that possibly be their next victim that they've managed to single out over here on the other side of the portal? So as you can see, the Dash ships are focusing on something, but it just needs to render itself in. And let's see what they're focusing on just here. It's streaming, I can feel it. There we go, there's Indominus' ship, and there is the ball itself. So they've managed to wean off another one of the ships from the main bulk of the sort of fleet over there, and they're doing some serious damage to it. There's the ball. So this ball, I believe, is a resupply and sort of production vessel, so this could really hinder the players when it comes to actually fixing up ships if this had spare parts and some repair functionality in it as well. You can see the Gundam focusing fire from the front, the cargo ships focusing there as well. They're repeating this target, or this sort of tactic, sorry. They're repeating this time and time again, and the players yet haven't learned what DBS and Dash are doing. They're trying to prevent it, and they need to work out a counter for this focusing fire. Maybe come at them as a horde. I'm not too sure. You'll have to let us know in the description below how you deal with this tactic of a very well prepared, well organised team trying to focus individuals out on their own. So as DBS and Dash are distracted, Luke Goblin's got a strategy of his own. Using his surfboard, or his partially built battleship, as a giant ramming weapon, he is heading full speed towards DBS Indominus Rex. Now, Indominus Rex hasn't spotted him. The cargo ship has fired some lasers. It's just a matter of time to see if the rest of DBS and Dash relay the information to Indominus that he is on the way to him with a giant ramming machine of death. And it looks like Indominus has activated his jump drive. He is going to be getting out of there. It's just a matter of, will he get out of there in time before Luke Goblin manages to connect with him with a ram. It is moments away now. If this thing hits, it could rip Indominus right in half, and he's coming right up to him, and Oh, inches away from him. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this segment up here. The next part of the battle will be available tomorrow, so make sure you check it out and see which faction or individual claims victory.